Back on October 1st, 2017, I published this video, World Record Water Level That Proves Flat Earth, Experiment Details. I came up with this test as a response to Jeranism's planned laser experiment that ended up becoming a failed experiment that's in a documentary that has not been released yet. This video only managed to gather 3,729 views since October 1st, yet we still managed to be able to collect about $3,000 in donations. This wasn't enough to run the experiment, so I refunded everyone's money that had contributed to the experiment. One of the original contributors, Nathan, recently called me out on that I had said I would run the experiment again this year, and he sent me a $200 donation to get it started. I am a man of my word, and I'm going to reorganize the world record water level experiment. So what I'd like to do is show you the way the experiment was originally laid out, and then just add some detail because we've had some time to process this experiment. Jeranism has planned a new experiment that's designed to fail with a string stretched 3 miles over water. And if his line sags and touches the water, he's going to say that we live on a ball.
Yeah, the reason I like the fishing line experiment so much is because it is putting out a risk on your own belief, because I know that Sleeping Warrior wasn't in agreement so much, but I certainly would be. I mean, if I winch that line and it cuts into the water by a foot, you can bet your ass I'm going to walk away from that and say that the earth is curved.
So what I want to do right now is go through the way I intend to run this experiment, the world's longest water level, that's going to prove the earth is flat. So the place that we plan on doing this is in Galveston. This right here is a snapshot of that area from Google Earth. I've imported it into SketchUp, and I've done some modeling on it. So what we're going to do is drill down here, and I'm envisioning this as the starting point. We have road access right here where we can offload supplies. We can offload hose, we can offload the posts. We can do that at multiple locations down this 3-mile stretch. So as we drill down here, what we're going to need to do is plant our first post in the sand. We'll use a post hole digger, we'll dig a hole, we'll plant the post in the ground. We'll use wet sand to pack it back in. We'll use levels to make sure that this post is perfectly perpendicular. Now you can see here, I've got a surveyor here. We are going to need to have a surveyor not using GPS equipment, but optical equipment with high tolerances, auto leveling theodolites or transits. And what they're going to need to do is they're going to need to set reference points down this beach in whatever distances that they can work within high level tolerances. All right, so they'll set a reference point here near where our first post is. They're going to shoot an elevation off of that, and then they can swing around, or maybe they'll have to add additional pins along the way. But what they're going to be doing is always shooting off this reference point here. And so they don't need to know sea level, they don't need to know anything other than the elevation of this starting pin. Now what we're going to be doing with the hose is we're going to be stringing it out, we're going to lay it down near the water's edge. And I have it marked out in yellow here, just so that it shows up. But then you can see where it transfers to blue here, and above that you can see how it's clear. So what we'll have is on the ends of whatever hose we use, we'll have clear tubing. And that clear tubing will probably be 8-10 feet of clear tubing. And so what we'll do is we'll pull up the hose along our post here, and we're going to set a mark on this post. First one. We're going to do a half mile at a time. So then we'll come down here. Same thing. We have the clear tubing. We're going to pull it up, and wherever the water is showing, a level mark, wherever the water comes up in the tube, we're going to set our mark here and on our first post. And what we'll be doing is having the surveyor with his shots here off these pins. We're going to check and see whether or not when the water level makes a mark on the first post and the second post, whether or not the surveyor says that that is in fact level. Okay, so we'll do it half mile. Now the reason why I have this wall here is because I want you to visualize us building an actual seawall, like a concrete seawall, where these marks that we're setting right here, what we want is a perfectly level seawall. It has no curvature to it. We know that we have the capability in this world right now to make something perfectly level. Level, level, level. The surveyor is going to verify that our half-mile section here is truly level. And then once we've done that, we're going to go to our next post, and then our next post, and then our next post. Surveyor always moving along with us, checking to see that when we get our marks on each post, that it's level the entire way, no curvature. So eventually what we'll have, come back out here, is we will have 3 miles of this done. Surveyor having verified the entire way that each half-mile section is truly level. So there will not be any question as to whether or not there is some magical force that is making the water and the level respond the same way, you know, the curved oceans in the globe earth theory are responding. We want to build a wall. All right. A perfectly level wall for 3 miles. We will eventually have 3 miles of hose set up here, so that from the first mark to this mark should be exactly the same and verified by a surveyor on site. The reason why I like running the experiment from the one end to this end is because then at the end of this 3-mile run, when we've seen that water levels are in fact level and we've proven that there is no curvature, is it ends up right at a state park here. So what I'm envisioning is that flat earthers, globe earthers, anybody that wants to be a part of this experiment, they can be here, they can help out, they can help record. We're going to be live streaming, we're going to be recording with a P900. We would love to have somebody or multiple people that have drones there filming this with drone footage. We want a lot of people there, eyes on this experiment, to make sure that there is no tomfoolery, no hoaxing, no CGI, no faked results. That is documented, verified, and we are certain that there is no curvature. And this is a 3-mile test. After this is done, we could do it 6 miles. We could do it 12 miles. Alright, so what I'm picturing is that we hang out down here afterwards during the celebration, that we grill, we do some barbecuing, we have a bonfire. But this isn't going to be like the normal flat earth meetups where people just stumble around wasted or high on drugs. This is going to be truthers that have actually done real world experiment, knowing that they've proven now that the earth is flat. They have something demonstrable that they can share with friends and family, and we can get exposure. We can get the word out there to the rest of the world that earth is in fact flat. It has been proven by a world record water level. What I'd like to do right now is introduce everybody to an entirely new concept, and that is crowdsourced truthing. By truthers, for truthers. And so the way this is going to work is I'm not trying to make any money off of this experiment. I'm just trying to prove that Earth is flat. And so what I'm going to do is, with the materials in this experiment, I'm going to try to return them or sell them for as much as I can. And then the money that I get back, I'm going to refund to everybody that's contributed their portion. So it'll be a percentage. We're not going to get all the money back, and we do need to have a surveyor there. So that's going to cost money as well. Probably going to need to rent a trailer and a few other things that aren't going to be refundable. But as far as materials are concerned, we're going to get as much money back as we can, and I'll refund that as a percentage of your donation. So if we bind together as truthers and crowdsource the things that we want to do, as long as we have somebody that's honest and trustable and transparent, we can pool our funds together and accomplish whatever we want to and get our money back so that we can do more. So that we're not just, making somebody rich that's taking the lead. There's no need for that. I'm here for the truth. And I want to show how it can be done quickly with crowdsourced truth funding. Well, that's pretty much it for the original water level test. We intend to do it essentially the same. I'd just like to add a few details here. So this time with my modeling, I've added the globe underneath the water level test. And at our first point, we're going to be setting a post in the ground. We're going to be digging the holes roughly 2.5 to 3 feet deep, putting in the 4x4, packing the sand around it again, and making sure that the post is perfectly plumb. The surveyor's job will be to transfer the mark that we put on the first pole all the way to the last pole, making sure that it's perfectly level the entire way. We will be verifying that the surveyor's marks and that the water level say that it's perfectly level each half mile, the entire length. Because we are burying the posts 2.5 to 3 feet deep in the sand, and they're 8-foot posts, we're going to have 5 to 5.5 feet of posts to work with. If Earth is a globe, by the time we get to the 3-mile pole, we will have run out of posts to work with. Because the required amount of curvature for a globe the size they say Earth is, 3,959 miles, is 72 inches in 3 miles, or 6 feet. But if Earth is flat, like we expect, we're going to have the mark on the last pole at essentially the same height as on the first pole. Now, I already know that the main objection to this experiment is going to come from fake flat earthers like Jaron. Out of all the channels that claim to be flat earthers that are monetized and take collections, not a one of them has ever produced an experiment that conclusively proves that Earth is flat. To the contrary, their failed experiments have led many to conclude that Earth is a globe.
Why would you approve to be in a documentary that doesn't really support the theory?
Exactly that.
Everyone already thinks we're
Because-
jokes.
Walking out of here, if I didn't research it ahead of time, okay, if I still, and I did, believe the Earth was a globe. Sure. Listen, I don't even know if it is flat. Whatever. Either way,
I like what you
I would
said.
leave this theater thinking, oh,
That was a farce.
15-degree movement of the Earth and this laser experiment. Of course, it's a globe.
Agreed.
And
Jaron has already spoken out against this experiment, saying that gravity would adjust the height of the water and the water level. But he is nothing but a detractor that will lie at any cost to try and prevent an experiment from showing conclusively that Earth is flat. Jaron's suggestion that gravity would affect the outcome of this experiment is immediately debunked with a simple understanding of Pascal's law and hydrostatics. Pascal's law is a fundamental principle of fluid mechanics that states that any pressure applied to the surface of a fluid is transmitted uniformly throughout the fluid in all directions, in such a way that initial variations in pressure are not changed. Thus, if both ends of a hose are open to the same atmospheric pressure, the water height in the hose will be the same. While gravity is a variable that scientists attempt to add to equations, we learn as we go down here that we can eliminate the g variable from our equation. For water and other liquids, this integral can be simplified significantly for many practical applications based on the following two assumptions. Since many liquids can be considered incompressible, such as water, a reasonable good estimation can be made from assuming a constant density throughout the liquid. The same assumption cannot be made within a gaseous environment. Also, since the height h of the fluid column between Z and Z is often reasonably small compared to the radius of Earth, one can neglect the variation of G. And to top it all off, we will employ a surveyor that is doing nothing but transferring a mark, like they would at any other job site, from the first post to the last post. We will then be comparing the accuracy of the water level to the transit, and vice versa. Now let's talk about what I can provide and what we'll need to get for this experiment. I have a F-150 crew cab with a 6.5 foot bed that is two-wheel drive. I'm a bit nervous about driving on the sand, but I'll risk it. I have the post hole digger and all the hand tools necessary. Plus, for recording the experiment, I have two GoPro Hero 6s with extra batteries, a P900 with an extra battery, the DJI Phantom 4 drone with 2 batteries, and my iPhone 7 for live streaming. The things we'll need is the pipe, fittings, posts, a small U-Haul trailer, small generator, a submersible utility pump, and a surveyor team. A budget of $5,000 should cover all of this. The wild card is getting a surveyor crew under contract that fits in the budget of Labor Day weekend, because that is the weekend I am proposing to run the experiment. While contemplating when would be the best time to run the experiment, Labor Day weekend stood out to me. My hopes are that because it is a holiday weekend and we are going to be running this experiment on Galveston Island, that we get as many of you out there possible to come be a part of and witness the experiment if we all had an extra day for travel. September 1st, the day I want to run the experiment, also happens to be my birthday, and proving definitively that Earth is not a globe would be the best birthday present ever. Labor Day weekend is generally beautiful weather here in Texas, and regardless if the funds come in for conducting the experiment or not, Ronnie and I have a room booked in Galveston for Friday and Saturday night. If the experiment does not get funded in time, there will still be meetups for sure that involve gathering evidence with the P900 and the drone, and we would like to have a cookout at the beach with live campfire music. We need to have made funding for the experiment by August 24th so that I can order the pipe and make sure we have a surveyor under contract. If all goes well, the cookout will be a celebration gathering and not just a meetup. If you want to be a part of the Flat Earth community that can bring about a successful experiment that proves Earth is not a globe, please reach out and get involved.